So there we come to the technology barriers. Okay. So as I said, I did this poll and got some qualitative stuff out of this as well, had some conversations. You know, between 30 and 60% of people said that meetings, whilst they are effective most of the time, they are tiring. And of course, that depends on how many meetings you have and that kind of thing, how many people in, and whether they're organized very well. Most people agreed that all these things were necessary. They were all these things depending on context. And that most agreed, or 30% agreed, that you need a process and facilitator. But as I say, qualitative, the people that found them effective were the empowered executives, owners of businesses, directors, managers of teams. And the people that didn't were the ones that weren't so empowered, if you like. So why are they tiring? Well, as with any learning any new skill, Zooming or teaming uses a lot of energy because we're in the consciously competent stage. We're not black belts at Zooming just yet. We're still learning. And any kind of conscious decision making requires about 20% of your calories. So it leaves us feeling depleted. We're also approaching online meetings very much as if they're face-to-face meetings, and they're not. We have to change our behaviors, our modus operandi. And because we haven't quite got there yet, probably, you know, again, it's awkward and tiring. Something really interesting is the fact that some people experience anxiety before meetings. This is similar to pre-match nerves. I've done a lot of work around confidence and anxiety issues. If you have an athlete who's just about to have a race, or an actor who's about to go on stage, they'll feel some performance tension before they go on, which our adrenal glands are situated above our kidneys. We'll feel a fluttering in our stomach, and as a result of that, it kickstarts the adrenaline. Now then, if you're an athlete and you've gone through this over and over again, you're familiar to with this feeling, and you know that you can convert this into a turbo boost for your performance. If you're not aware of what's actually going on inside you, and you just feel these feelings, flutters, butterflies, and you can give it a different association. Now, performance tension and fear and anxiety are basically the same chemical cocktail inside us. What the difference is that one is, you might think it's performance tension is positive, and if you think it's anxiety, it begins a negative spiral. And so, you know, as a result of that, when we come online, some of us, especially if we have that power imbalance, you're actually performing in front of your boss. And so, you know, unless without training and stuff like that and understanding what's going on inside us, that anxiety will build up until they find out what it is. So, you know, expect problems like that, you know, to surface in the future. Some people are complete technophobes, sorry. I was talking to a friend who's a trainer, and she just said, no, as soon as we went into lockdown, working from home, I just put myself on furlough because I can't stand technology. I'm a complete technophobe. So again, there's a lot of anxiety in this kind of stuff. If they're not organized, they drag on, they become confusing and unproductive. And as I say, we're like an actor on stage. We're having to emote more, which is draining if you're not that way inclined. Because we can see ourselves, we're more self-conscious, and that can make some of us feel a bit uncomfortable and self-conscious and uncomfortable. And again, all these things are just chipping away, eroding your confidence. We're having to be hyper vigilant. You've probably seen that news piece. It's a viral news piece that went interview that went viral. It's basically the chap's about to get interviewed by the newscaster, and his kids come in partway through the interview, and it's on, you know, national television, and you see the wife or the babysitter trying to drag these children out of the room. So yeah, we're having to split our attention. Hyper vigilant. With, you know, I've got a dog outside, so I've got to be careful that he doesn't start barking at something. Family members might walk in. So yeah, we, you know, if we're in this kind of area where we're trying to put on a good front, having to be hyper vigilant, again, that's draining. we're often not sure of what's expected of us in meetings, and as because we haven't got the whole picture, you know, like who's going to direct the meeting. We'll have an idea of what the agenda is. You might have got an agenda, but you're still not really clear on the whole thing. So again, being in a confused state at all is hard work. In a group setting, there are many faces directly in front of us, and we're decoding unconsciously throughout the meeting. Now then, face to face, you're probably going to talk face to face with one person. If you're stepping back from it because you're one of those type of people that go to a networking meeting, don't really like them, and you step to one side and look at it, you might have an overview, but they're at a distance. When you got faces in front of you, unbeknownst to you, you're actually unconsciously trying to decode all those faces. Now then, the best way to think about this is very much like you're working on a document on your laptop and you've got hundreds of apps working in the background, and they're just draining your battery flat really quickly. And of course, if you're doing back-to-back meetings of an hour at a time, there's no wonder that people are just collapsing. 2 or 3 days of work, boom, is kind of what I'm hearing quite a lot of. The thing is, the other thing that we've got to accept is the fact that this is technology. It doesn't work like face-to-face meetings or in-person meetings. You've probably already experienced this. You all try and speak at once. No one gets heard. Everyone stops. Awkward silence, and then everyone jumps in again. The military and blue light services, they are trained from the early onset how to use a radio and other communication technology, because communication is so important. But you need a process, you need a discipline. And of course, with radios, it's hello, so-and-so, this is so-and-so, over. And that allows the signals the other person to do it. With meetings, generally, what you really need to do is a facilitator that can direct people. The facilitator is leading people through a process that gets the best out of everyone.